Welcome back, everyone, and thanks for joining us here on the last day of Hi World 2020. My name is Michelle Huff. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at UserTesting, and I really hope that you enjoyed all the different content and the conference experience that we've built for you. Did you also check out Jonah Berger's The Closing Keynote yesterday? And I thought it was incredibly insightful. Lots of great tips and tricks in there, and one of the things that he talked a lot about was building influence and gaining buy-in. And really one of the reasons why we had him come speak at Hi World is because a lot of you, right? We've had a lot of conversations with our champions of customer experience, and many of you are driving change, right? Driving change within how people should really bring in customer insights to build these great experiences, and driving change within your organization itself, right? Many of you are trying to drive change within teams, within peers, other groups, your leadership team. And so I really hope that you found some of that information helpful in what you do on a day-to-day basis. Now, if yesterday, if you listened to Andy and Janelle talk through the opening keynote, a lot of what we talked about yesterday was about the why, right? Why is empathy, right? Why does it matter more today than ever before? Right? We talked a lot about how what's more important more and more today is gathering these insights from customers and really trying to understand your customers from these new perspectives. In fact, we listened to Miriam and Janelle from IHG, so Intercontinental Hotels Group, right? And they walked through, right? They're having to completely relearn their customers, relearn the attitudes, beliefs, the needs, how people think about, visiting hotels in today's environment. We also talked about the why and the importance of having to almost rethink how we're designing these experiences today, right? And how all these different channels that maybe we've never taken advantage before, and now we are, and optimizing these different experiences. And in fact, we also talked to the Dick's Sporting Goods team. They shared how they had to completely redo and rethink their curbside pickup experience this year. We also talked a lot about empowering others within an organization, and really the importance of really growing this influence and impact, and really being able to share these insights across more and more teams. And Beth Ard from Lumen Technologies came up and shared about all the different ways that she's structuring this and really how to do this at scale within an organization. And so really, if yesterday was all about the why, if you can kind of think about this product innovation keynote that we're going to be speaking to today is the how, right? How are we going to be bringing all these different human insights into the different decisions that we're driving today? So maybe to start with that, let's think about how modern teams really build experiences today, right? I think many of you are in these teams, or you're in companies where they're moving more and more in this direction. And really these teams that are building, designing, delivering these different experiences work today a bit differently than they used to in the past. There's really kind of three core concepts. And the first is around iterative development, right? Today, when people are designing and building things, there's a lot of risk if you have a big reveal, a big ta-da, and you've really never incorporated feedback along the way. So many teams are really driving much more of this continuous learning, continuous testing, and really this iterative building of the different products and services and experiences. Another key concept is empowering more and more teams, right? A lot of modern teams, different people are much more empowered today than ever before to make decisions on behalf of the customer. And with all these different decisions, right, they're making them and really trying to make sure that they actually bring in that customer feedback in their decision making has become more and more important. And additionally, if you really think about all these different touch points, our customers are more connected in many different ways with our companies and our brand experience. And all these different digital touch points that are really starting to be created and built into these different journeys really means more and more teams, right? More and more teams are having to actually bring in these insights, not into just their experience, but that connection point that really brings and makes up that entire journey. And so all of this means that we're really trying to drive so much more human insight, customer feedback into more teams, more decisions, and really do it at this velocity that is really unprecedented than in times past. So really, if that's how modern teams are really starting to build and design experiences, there's also another key component of how we decide, right? How do we make different decisions? And I think as an industry, what we've been seeing is that so many companies have been acquiring massive volumes of data about their customers, right? We've done a so much better job of building that and managing that in one location. We've started to find out more and more about these customers and then better understanding and tracking their behaviors and their attitudes and what they're doing and really starting to kind of bring that to life. And that's really surfaced so much more that we've now been able to predict and see of customers at such large scales. But I think what we're starting to really see is this need and this hunger for so much more than that, and really these human insights that give people an ability to really have so much more color and depth and context, because people are trying to make meaning of all the data and better understand how to make that more actionable. And so when you really have a better understanding from the customer and have those human insights, and really this combination starts giving you a better understanding of what to do next. And I really believe that it's this combination of both these data as well as the human insights and that perspective that you get that helps you make better decisions. It helps you have more confidence in the decisions that you're making. And it also helps you really ultimately drive better results, because at the end of the day, the reason why we're in business is to serve our customers and make sure that that whole experience and what we're delivering actually meets their needs. And so really, this is what's driving our product vision here at UserTesting, right? We are wanting to really bring real human insight into any decision, right? And we're really wanting to make sure that we're building a platform that empowers you to do that as the needs of your business and the needs of your experiences continue to evolve and change. And so maybe one of the things that we can do is just take a look at maybe some examples, right? We've been talking about a lot of these different concepts, and sometimes it's easier to really start thinking through some examples and what we really mean about bringing human insights into more and more decisions. So if we take a look, right, at maybe one common example that I think many of us have actually experienced this year, or at least heard of other people experiencing this, is what a lot of retailers, a lot of people right now who are in the restaurant business, you're having to deal with this, is this concept of curbside pickup, right? It's this whole new experience that's multi-parts, part digital, part physical, and in many ways an experience that's brand new for many consumers, as well as a brand new experience for companies who are putting it together. At the same time, the insights and the perspective, right, there's so many. If you think about a whole, what does that experience look like for different audiences, maybe for your existing customers, maybe your loyal customers, the ones that have been yearning to come and interact with your brand and trying to find a best and like the safe way to do that. And what's the VIP customer experience? And maybe you're trying to really identify based on what you know about them, right? Maybe it's whoever spends the most in a year. Perhaps they are the customers that are more frequent, or in certain geos. Maybe there's a huge difference between being in dense cities versus kind of broader suburbs. But there's also brand new markets. I think yesterday in the keynote, Janelle shared some of the human insight trends, and we watched a video of a woman who was talking about how she's got 4 children, and there's all these new restaurants. She's like, this is actually a better way for me. I never really wanted to bring my kids into the restaurant before. So, I mean, there might be people who would have never actually experienced your product and brand that suddenly, right, is a whole new market for you. And it's a perspective that as a company, as a designer, as a marketer, as a product person, is maybe that they're less familiar to you. And so there's all these different audiences that continually need to be tested. And then I think if it's not just decisions, right? We just talked about bringing insights into more, right? It's this whole connected journey. There's trying to have insights from more different perspectives and audiences. But there's also into a larger part of the entire development process. So it's everything from, from the idea, right? The first time you have these concepts of a new way of doing this, right? It's instead of building the whole thing out and realizing at that time, maybe that wasn't the right approach for these new audiences of yours, right? Being able to really get insights early on into that brainstorming, the concept development, and then really making sure that you're bringing in, getting feedback while you're building it, whether that be prototypes, whether that be in test markets, and then ultimately the content and the messaging. As we talked before, for some of these experiences, it's brand new for not just you as a company, but the consumers themselves. We've talked with so many different companies now where they have new offerings, and it's almost like the wording and how people think about something are so different, and it's enlightening when you start seeing how people react to how you're actually describing the way that people should interact with your brand. And finally, if you think about all these different insights, so much of it has been around making sure that you get visibility, more feedback into more of these different experiences to make decisions. But ultimately, this other part is about you, right? How do we get you to scale and really make sure that out of all these different experiences, almost these videos, these exchanges, these interviews, how do we make sure that you scale and you can leverage your time most effectively, right? How can you more quickly get to the moments that matter? And that's ultimately, right, if we kind of walk through those experiences, what we're trying to do here at User Testing is help bring human insights into more decisions. And really, our product vision, what Kai Vandeloo is going to be talking through, he's our CTO here at User Testing, and there's these 4 main themes that we've been bringing and developing upon and bringing innovation in these different areas of being able to test any experience, right? And as we talked about before in that example, right, it's not just, right, about testing that application, that mobile app, or that website, right? It's being able to test more and more experiences, more and more methods, and being able to empower more teams, right? We talked about before, it's not just one team that needs access to these different feedback, but so many teams are empowered to make these decisions, and they benefit from being able to have these shared learnings and understandings and insights, and being able to reach more audiences, right? As we talked before, it's not just maybe the ones you've always tested with, but new markets, as well as getting to what matters faster, right? And all these different examples, right? There's a lot of change that's happened, of course, this year, but this is change, right, that we all need to continually be focused on, because consumers always change, markets change, new people enter markets, and so really making sure that you build in this muscle as an organization and have tools and technology and programs really can help you have a greater impact and scale. So one of the things is we're thinking about bringing human insight into more decisions, right? We talked yesterday a lot about it's obviously we want to be building out a platform for this, but some of it's the programs and some of it's how people are choosing to roll out out. We had Beth talk about how she's doing this at scale at Lumen. And what I wanted to do is, before we kind of kick off into the product roadmap and vision, I wanted to really share another story of a customer, Eric with IBM. He's another amazing leader who's taking some time to build out and be kind of a change agent within IBM, who's really trying to build a different culture and driving a whole program to scale out human insights. So let's take a look.
My name is Eric Malstead. I am the head of user research for the cloud, data, and AI business units at IBM. I started and lead an 80-person user research organization. A lot of people think that user research is about obsessing over users, and it is, but I think one thing that's made my organization successful is we obsess over business results. A few of the things that we do to ensure that our data turns into direction, that our insights are championed all the way through implementation are, we involve our stakeholders in the research. We share videos with them. We workshop with them. We bring the users back into the company, and we rigorously track those insights in our research repositories. One of the things that we did with user testing is we set this up as what we call a usability theater. We have session recordings constantly playing and available to our stakeholders that they could come and observe. So those videos and images were cherished by our stakeholders because they represented opportunities for them to go watch their creations out in the wild and then address the issues and friction points within those experiences. And what we do is we provide templates and documentation and office hours that enable these work partners to make decisions that benefit our end users. When we're able to increase the velocity of customer insights through the development lifecycle, we can build leverage and influence. Everything we do as a company is the result of a team of people investing in a shared goal. So when a company makes a commitment to acting on customer insights, an investment in user research, over time what we do is we increase the probability of our success.
All right, so that was great. What you saw there was listening to Eric and how he's thinking about scale at IBM and the different programs that he's building out, how he's trying to connect it to value. Hopefully you found that as interesting as I did. And so next, what I wanted to do is really introduce to you Kai Vandeloo. He's our CTO here at UserTesting, and everything that we've just talked about, he's going to talk through how we are making this vision possible here at UserTesting. Kai?
Thank you, Michelle. That was a great introduction. My name is Kai Vandeloo. I'm Chief Technology Officer here at UserTesting, and I'm going to be talking about our product a lot. What we have delivered to make our vision come real, and what we are planning on delivering over the next 12 months or so. So, as Michelle said, we have a very clear vision. We want to bring real human insights into any decision making. We want to make sure that everybody who is about to make a decision about a product or a service or just any other experience has access to real human insights. The way we're doing this, it's not an easy feat exactly to bring human insights into any decision. It's easy to say. We've identified 4 ways that we need to make this happen. 4 kind of building blocks of our strategy driving towards the vision of bringing real human insight into any decision. The first one is we want to be able to support more kinds of experiences. You should be able to test any experience you provide. We want to empower more teams. Really important that real human insights is not the privilege of just a few that then go out and share this with the rest of the organization. The whole organization, every team in your company should have access to real human insights in the right way. We have to reach more audiences. If we have more people getting feedback on more experiences, there are a large number of people we have to be able to reach. You have to be able to find exactly the right person to give you the feedback that you need. And if we increase the experiences we can get feedback on, if we increase the number of people getting feedback, the number of people we're getting feedback from, the volume of insights grows faster, and you have to be able to get to what really matters really quickly. So we have to be able to help you find insights faster than ever before. The first one of these, getting real human insights on any experience, is really important. You today, our customers, already test many different things. You have many ways that you're getting feedback on using user testing. It's our classic, the self-guided video recordings, the unmoderated tests, whatever you want to call them, moderated tests, but we have many different kinds of templates that you can use to compare 2 experiences to each other. You can ask people about what they like or what they dislike. You can validate designs, or you can test production assets, all kinds of things that people are already doing. And this is great. And we're learning a lot from our customers about how you use our product and ideas you come up with while doing so. And that's very important feedback to us, because that lets us drive in and drill in to further either strengthen ways we already capture feedback, or just enable entirely new ways of getting feedback, new experiences that you may not be able to test today. And if we just think of a normal experience today, like if you look at this picture, people sitting around a table, maybe it's a cafe, maybe it's an office, they don't look like they would interact, but they could talk to each other. Everybody has a computer. They probably all have a smartphone. They also have a coffee. Lots of things they're experiencing at the same time. And we want to be able to test all of these things. Experiences that you have on a computer, experiences you have on a smartphone, experiences you have in the real world, all of these things. Over the past 6 months or so, we've launched a lot of capabilities around mobile testing. And I want to talk about two of these. We call them full device testing and camera task for mobile tests. It sounds a little mundane, sounds a little geeky, but each one of these is really important by themselves, especially in this day and age where digital experiences are becoming more and more critical, and often physical experiences are combined with digital ones. So if you look at the full device testing, many companies out there, organizations, government, everybody now drives people to a mobile app as a starting point. You can't even buy coffee anymore without downloading an app, installing it, setting up your payments on there, registering, and then you can order your coffee and you can go pick it up. So the whole experience of maybe going to a mobile website, being directed to the app store to download an app, downloading the app, opening it for the first time, registering, and then using it for whatever it is it needs to be used for, is a super important experience. And if you lose your intended audience somewhere along those steps, you've lost them. So you have to optimize this whole thing. And there are many steps in this that are not your app. So it's not enough to be able to record your app. It's everything else. The full device recording is what you need to capture. So the full device recording, really important to understand the full flow on the device. Mobile camera task, also really important to be able to capture what's happening in the real world. We now have all these combined digital physical experiences where, I said, you may be ordering food online and you have it delivered. And what matters is the overall experience. And let's have a look at what that can look like in the real world when somebody tests a whole experience from ordering through delivery.
I guess create a new order, and then I'm going to do delivery, primary address. That's nice how they have the address first. And this is nice, I can choose the order timing, so an hour later. Okay, continue. Today. That'll be my total looks like. And then I guess I press checkout. Okay, this will be a okay. It was very easy. Maybe I wish there were some less screens, but overall it was really easy. What if he'll arrive in like 4 minutes? So that's really nice. And it tells me when he left the store. And I also get any text alerts, so I like everything about this. Now wait until your order is being delivered and discuss your thoughts about your experience. It made me feel safe when delivering my food because I didn't have to interact with the person directly. And I liked how fast it was. So I bought the chicken with the regular pizza, medium. It's just hot. And it looks like it was freshly made. I think overall they met my expectations.
So that was an example of how we can use the mobile camera task to record the physical part of an experience. Something else in our October release is the ability to record people's faces as they go through an unmoderated test. We've not done much of this before, but through the mobile camera task, for example, we've seen how important it is and how stronger it comes across when you can see somebody's face. So this is something we're very excited about. We're going to start recording faces, make that available, make it possible as of our October release so that you can record a participant's face as well as their screen as they go through a test. This in itself, of course, makes the whole watching the test more interesting. When you see somebody speak, you see their expression, you can see maybe they go quiet for a while and have a confused expression. Whatever it is, you can add this to your analysis of their experience. I'm convinced this builds emotion. It builds empathy so much more than when you're just listening to somebody's voice. Listening to the voice already is great for building empathy. Seeing their face while they experience your website or whatever it is even more powerful, even more empathy building. So this is, again, a small feature that I think is going to have a big, big impact for years to come. So this is really interesting. Something else we're doing is we want to give you, our customers, more ways to get feedback, and maybe in more stages of the product lifecycle. We already support everything from ideation through design to development, iterative development processes, to the production assets. We let you look at competitors. And one technique that we're adding to our portfolio of research tools is card sorting. This is a true, well-tested way of getting feedback on information architecture, making sure that the information you present is logically grouped. We're now working on a card sorting feature that we should be able to release before the end of the year. So our plan is to have something on the market and available for you, say in December of this year. We're very excited about this. It's for us a new way of getting feedback on how to organize information early on in a development cycle. So that's a big, big thing that we also want to do to help our customers. So if we look ahead in the area of getting real human insights on any experience, you're going to see from us more new tools and new test types. Card sorting is first one. There's going to be more of such things coming, more ways of getting feedback. You're going to see more from us around destination testing, meaning the ability to really understand somebody's experience in the location where they're having it. Again, this may be things like going to a restaurant that is now socially distanced and everything is set up to be properly in the pandemic here. How does that feel? How do people feel when they're in that location? Or it can be curbside pickup or pretty much any experience you have at a destination, at a location. There's a lot we can do to improve both the collection of information around that and the presentation and the analysis of it. And one thing you're going to see from us is the ability to string results of different studies together. Again, this could be this combined experiences. I buy something online on a Tuesday, I go pick it up on a Saturday, I install it in my house on Sunday. It's the overall experience that matters. And this could be 3 tests, one I take on a Tuesday, one on a Saturday, one on a Sunday, but it's the overall result that really matters to you. So that's 3 areas you should see a whole lot more from us going forward here, enabling you to get real human insights from any experience. Next thing we're working on is bringing real human insights to any team. If you ask me, this may be the most important area, and we've done a lot in this area. If you remember what Janelle talked about yesterday, she talked about empowering others. If you're already getting feedback today, you're privileged. You have to help empower others to do the same. To do that, we have to make it easy to collect the human perspective, easy to get this feedback, and we have to be able to bring this feedback into existing workflows. This is something, the best way to do that is for us to be present, for the real human insights to be present in any workflow. So that's something else that we're working on that Janelle talked about yesterday, and that's really important to us. We're already seeing how more and more people are getting feedback. We're running, obviously, more sessions than ever. I mean, just look at this chart. This is a number of sessions that you, our customers, run on our platform. It's growing quickly. You're testing more things. We're also seeing that each session is used more. There are more clips made, more highlight reels made. It's shared more. People take more notes than ever before. And we've seen the team size go up. So there are more people actually collaborating on these things. There are more people using our product to get these real human insights. So that's great. And we've done a lot. If you look at our deliverables in 2020 so far, a lot of it has been targeted at making it easy to get feedback. It's things like saved audiences, saved test plans, quick answers, that we have pre-built whole little packages of test templates and results display templates that make it really easy to just launch what we call a quick answer, the easy way to get feedback and analyze it. We've launched a whole package of these quick answers for marketing teams. With all this templatization, it's become much easier to launch a test, get feedback, and analyze it. We also launched a Jira integration. It's a first step in bringing our insights into the workflows where product managers, designers, developers spend time. Everybody uses Jira every day. So we make it possible to put clips in there so that you can have real human insights in the tool that your product teams are using anyway. Part of the October release is a really exciting thing. We got a lot of feedback from our customers on quick answers. They liked the concept of quick answers, but wanted some control over what to test. Well, we listened, we built the quick answer builder. It's a functionality that allows you as highly skilled, maybe researchers who know how best to get feedback, put a quick answer together, and then let others across the company use this, and ideally in iterative development. We were our own first alpha customer of this, and I'd like to hand over here to two of my colleagues, Anthony and Husky, who'll tell you how they used this and how the two of them collaborated using the quick answer builder.
Thanks, Kai. Quick answers are crucial for helping teams make decisions here at User Testing. On the product team, we use quick answers for testing new concepts and prioritizing work, getting feedback on designs and prototypes. These aren't just simple decisions we're making. As we continue to add features to the platform, usability also becomes more complex. In fact, we recently tested a prototype where literally 0% of users were initially able to complete a key task.
Two things were clear when we reviewed the initial results. One, solving this would take many iterations. And two, we needed to break down the process into smaller steps. And of course, deadlines were tight. Realizing I couldn't really run all of these usability studies on my own, I designed a custom quick answer so that the product team could run tests and collect feedback as well. The structure of the test was fixed, but it also included open placeholders so that the product managers and designers could easily adapt and reuse the test across each step of the process.
Having access to real-time feedback gave us the confidence to push ahead quickly. It's also proved to be super helpful when sharing requirements with the engineering team. After all, they had to code a complex solution in order to deliver the best possible customer experience, all with limited time and resources. But now they had the confidence they were building it right. The most helpful feature, though, I think, was the results page that Anthony designed for us. It allowed us to quickly scan the feedback and focus our attention on the key areas. It saved a ton of time for us, and after a half dozen iterations, we were able to go from 0% of users completing the task to a success rate of 100%. It's a huge achievement given where we started.
Okay, there you are. That's how two of our colleagues used the quick answer builder. And note how Husky used this iteratively. Throughout the beta, he used the quick answer to get feedback. He and his team got feedback at every iteration, every sprint. They got feedback, they could adjust the experience, and the experience improved from being difficult to use to being easy to use when we released it. I think that's a great example of how you can use our product in your product development process. So very happy about how we're using it ourselves and the results we're seeing. Another thing that's part of our October release, and again, it's about getting into the workflows where people are. Where do designers spend their time? They spend their time in design tools. Surprise, surprise. So we've been working with our partners at Adobe and building a plugin for Adobe XD so that when you're in Adobe XD as a designer, you have designed something you want to get feedback on, you can launch a quick answer test there out of Adobe XD. The test runs in the background, you get notified when it's completed, either in Adobe XD or through email or something, and you can then analyze the results. But the cool thing here is you can launch the test where you are, in the moment when you have designed something you want to get feedback on. Again, that's one example. You're going to see much more coming from us, where we put both the test launching and the feedback analysis into the workflows where people across the company actually are. So going ahead in our efforts to bring real human insights to any team, you're going to see us do much more work around internationalization. Our product today is only available in English. That's going to change. We want to enable people to work locally in their language. So we're fully internationalizing the language, both on the customer side, so we can have customers working anywhere in the world, and on the test participant side, so that we can get much better at testing with local audiences all over the world. That's a big investment area for us. We're also working a lot on new roles and tools that allow you to support more people within your companies. Again, we want this to be used by any team out there, and we're working hard on supporting people based on where they are in the organization and tailor the ability to get real human insights to the different roles in your organization. And in doing so, we're working a lot within our ecosystem with our partners, and we're becoming much more open. We're launching a public API here soon with a developer portal that allows both partners and customers to come in and consume our APIs to either trigger collecting feedback or to analyze the feedback that has been collected. So opening up a whole lot, working with partners. While we're doing all this, we also need to make it easier to find the right people to get feedback on. And our vision here is that you should be able to get real human insights from the right person quickly and at high quality. These three things together matter: the relevance, the speed, and the quality. So you need to find the right person, you need to get quick feedback quickly and with high quality. This finding the right person is really important, because think about it, who can provide valuable feedback on your experiences? It can be potential customers who you're not engaged with yet that you need to go out and find. Our panel is often great for that. It can be existing customers that also come in many different flavors. They can be casual users who use the product every now and then. They can be power users who use it on behalf of others. They can be very loyal customers. They can be people who were your customers and are not anymore. All kinds of people who you may consider customers that you can probably find in your own CRM systems or elsewhere. And many others that are not customers. They can be employees, business partners, suppliers, anything like that. So this also in many businesses over the last few months, the need to get feedback from different people has increased dramatically. And one such business is Cisco's Webex. So let's hear from Mani at Webex about experiences she has in collecting feedback from different kinds of people.
My name is Mani Pandey, and I am the head of UX research for Cisco Webex. We provide research support throughout the entire product lifecycle. Our world has completely changed after COVID. The number of people who need a product like Webex, it grew exponentially. Traditionally, a product like Webex has primarily been used by knowledge workers in an enterprise setting. But right now, because of COVID and social distancing, everyone uses a product like Webex. People are using Webex to talk to their family. They're talking to their friends. I've had Webex calls with my mother-in-law, which I never did in the 20 years that I've been married. So after COVID, we have, as a team, spent a lot of our time trying to understand the needs of specifically doctors, patients, students, teachers, people who were not traditionally users of video conferencing and meeting software. Speed is really important to us because after COVID, the amount of features that we have to deliver have grown exponentially. So there was a big demand for us to release breakout rooms really quickly. So we wanted to do formative research because the product timeline was really tight, and we actually leveraged user testing for doing that. The good thing was that we were able to get to a lot of teachers, a lot of them globally. So, people in Brazil, people in Europe, Australia. We were able to do that at in a very short time period because of using live conversations with user testing. The best research happens when you have ownership from everybody, because at the end of the day, you are going to take the research insights and make some product decisions based on that. I mean, we are not building products for just ourselves. We need to understand, will it work for the Brazilian educator who has never used Outlook before? So I think that's why you need to understand what the perspective is of the user, what are their needs, and this is how you build empathy.
Thank you, Mani. That's really interesting about how you are using user testing at Webex. Our panel is one of our biggest assets. Most of our tests, more than 80%, complete in less than 2 hours. So it's fast. In this panel, you're likely to find the people you're looking for, and you're likely to have your feedback quickly. And as we know, and what really matters is that we get very high ratings on the tests. Most of the tests get a 5-star or a 4-star rating by our customers. So this is quality feedback. We hear from you, our customers, every day about how good the quality of the feedback is. So that's what our panel provides. It's the ability to find the right person, get feedback quickly and at high quality. But it's not always the only way of finding people. We launched My Panel in July. It became GA. This, I think, is a fundamentally game-changing feature that we're going to keep building on for a long time. My Panel allows you to bring your own test participants. You may already have them in some community management tools or in your CRM system, or they live somewhere. You can now bring them to the user testing platform. You can create one or more what we call My Panels, where you yourself curate these panels, you know who's on there, and you can bring all the data you have about these people. You know who they are, you know their history with your company. You can bring all this on and use that in test distribution when you target these people for testing. And I think the combination of our panel and your own panelists is super powerful. This is how you can find people who've never used your service or your product before, and people who use it very frequently. Just think of an airline. Most airlines have one flight booking experience. This flight booking experience should work for somebody who's never flown with you. Those you can find in our panel. And it should work for your most loyal customers that fly with you all the time, and you know their home airport and you know all their preferences. The booking experience should work for both of these groups. And you can use our panel and My Panel to bring these together to test the same experience with both or different experiences with different target groups. It's really important. Looking ahead in the area of finding the right audience, things we're going to keep building on is more investment in My Panel. We're going to keep investing this for a long time going forward. You're going to see more integrations in the panel space. As I said earlier, if you have community management tools, we want to integrate to those so that you can use them as sources of test participants. And we're looking at integrating to other panel providers that we'd like to work with so that you can access these vast panels that are out there through user testing. So you can use the experience you're used to at user testing, but you can get access not to our panel, but to the huge panels that are out there in the industry. And we're working hard on making sure we're the best in the industry for our test participants. We want the test participants to have a good experience from the moment they hear about us, they start signing up, they apply to be part of the panel, the training we give them so that they can give high quality feedback. All of this, we want to make sure that we provide an excellent experience. So that's something we're delivering a lot of innovation in that space as well, continuously for our test participants. Okay, now we can test more experiences, we can bring real human insights to more teams, we can find the right person, we've generated more feedback, more insights than ever before. We have to help you get to what matters faster. This is increasingly important. There's some research, a lot of data that shows that successful companies simply iterate faster than less successful ones. The winners in many different categories are the ones who iterate the fastest, because when you iterate and you get good feedback on each iteration, you can get to your goal much faster than if you move slower. And the one who gets there faster, Andy talked about this yesterday, the one who gets to a good market position, who provides a good experience faster than anybody else, has huge wins ahead of them. That if you can iterate quickly, you can make the right decision in each iteration, you can gain dominant market share in your segment. We're doing what we can to help you find your insights, make the right decisions as quickly as possible so you can iterate faster. One thing we just launched in July was what we call suggested sentiment. Very powerful feature where we analyze what a test participant says and we show you where the sentiment throughout a video is strongly positive or strongly negative. Those are often, not always, but those are often the most interesting moments in the video, is where somebody starts getting excited. So you can see immediately where a person is positive or negative, and you can quickly navigate to that part of a video and watch that exact piece. This is one of the things we've done. It's the first of many, many similar features. Part of our October release is something we call interactive path flows. It's a way to visualize a whole study with many participants. Visualize this graphically, how they moved throughout your website or your mobile app, what they did when they were there, so you can quickly see who behaved like most people behaved, who was a complete outlier, where did somebody maybe go from the most trodden path to an outlier path. Where did this happen? You can quickly zoom in on that particular experience. And I'd like to hand over to my colleague Ranjita, who's going to tell us about how she conceived this thing, and most of all, how you can use this to analyze a whole study.
We often hear from customers who want to speed up the process of reviewing feedback on our platform. We've all found ourselves with hours of videos to analyze after running just a few tests. Interactive path flows is a new, faster way to aggregate and summarize behavioral data across multiple user sessions. Instead of watching each video sequentially and then trying to identify patterns in the feedback, interactive path flows gives you a visual guide to the most important user moments before you watch a single clip. Let's take a look at an example. Here are the results of a test where we asked participants to find the educational requirements of a job posted on UserTesting.com. We can start by reviewing paths for each participant, which shows the steps they took as they navigated through our site. Since the paths are aggregated into flows, we can already tell how most participants completed the task. They went from the home page to the careers page and then to the job posting. 3 easy steps. This final page represents success for this task, so we can mark it to quickly see all the participants that reached this point. But what about everyone else? Some users got sidetracked but were ultimately successful, while others weren't able to complete the task at all. Using interactive path flows, we can see that the first click played a big role in whether a participant was able to complete the task. For instance, 3 of the 4 users that clicked on partners were ultimately unsuccessful. But let's dig a little deeper and find out what happened to PureBurst, one of our 15 participants. The interactive path flows interface automatically identifies that PureBurst was an outlier who took the most time to complete the task with the highest effort. We also see the thumbnails for each of PureBurst's clicks, scrolls, and inputs, so we can quickly identify the most interesting points along this arduous journey. In this case, PureBurst ended up on our site search and wasn't able to find the job posting. Another moment worth exploring. So in just a few minutes, and with minimal effort, Interactive Pathflows has helped us distill hours of video from 15 participants into actionable insights we can immediately use to improve our site.
So, that was an example of how you can use the interactive path flows to analyze a whole study and just quickly decide what parts you want to dive into and you want to analyze deeper by watching your test participants. Very powerful combination of analytics and the exact clips that matter. You're going to see much more of this coming from us going forward. Something else we're launching in our October release is something we call an insight summary. So once you've done a study, you've collected feedback, you've understood what's in there, you've understood what matters, you need to summarize this. You need to collect your thoughts and you need to start sharing it in your company. That's when you really start having an impact. It's like one thing that the person who collects the feedback and gets the insights understands what's going on. You really start affecting the business and start improving things when others get this. This is something we're starting in our October release here to work on with the insight summary, where you can take the insights you've gotten from tests you've run, you can add your thoughts to it, you can arrange this nicely, and you can share it with your colleagues so that they can use this information in their decision making. I think this is a very important thing that we can get a whole lot better at. So going forward, in helping you get to what matters faster, a couple of things to look for is a lot about visualizations of data, of insights that let you quickly hone in on the key moments where somebody says or does something that is really impactful, that generates these deep insights that really start affecting making decisions better. You're going to see a lot more of automation of the extraction of insights. With the suggested sentiment, we started showing you positive and negative sentiment. Our data science team is now working on trying to find what we call interesting moments in a session. It can be where somebody is confused or talks about whether they trust you or not, or they're asking a question, or they're making a suggestion. These are other powerful, interesting moments that we're trying to find and guide you towards. And then again, the whole notion of once you have collected all this insights, how do you share them? How can you arrange these in such a way that they're easy to share so that the person you share them with also can easily digest them? This we want to invest much more into following up on the insight summary that we have in our October release. So in short, what we're trying to do is help you get to insights, real human insights into any decision making, and we're doing that by being able to test any experience, empowering more teams to get real human insights themselves and benefit from that in their decision making, finding the right person who can deliver feedback quickly and with high quality, and helping you get to what matters faster. So that's it. That's our product, what we've delivered this year, what's part of the October release, and what we're currently working on to make the product better and better every day. Thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to give one more customer example of a company that is already getting feedback on everything. They test everything before it goes out and actually becomes available to their customers.
My name is Shiv Singh. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Eargo. Hearing loss in America affects 1 in 6 consumers and 1 in 3 baby boomers. We have a lot of consumers across the country who firstly hate the idea of having a hearing aid. For them, it represents growing old. Only 20% of the people with hearing loss are doing something about it. We try to reach those consumers who aren't addressing their hearing loss. When they see a piece of marketing communication, their first thought is, oh, that must apply to someone else and not to me. So we have this incredible barrier that we have to overcome. And the way we do it is by really focusing on every pixel, every frame, every punctuation mark in all of our communications. And that's where user testing plays such an incredible role. What we liked about user testing is literally the hundreds of tests that we could trigger again and again. Every time we run user testing, we learn something surprising and interesting. I can take those video clips, I can put them into a management presentation, I can string them together into a summary reel and share them with our board. We run user testing on everything. We don't launch stuff that hasn't been user tested and adjusted based on the feedback that we've gotten from our users. Reaching those people and communicating with them and helping them is incredibly important to us. And for that piece of it, we need user testing every day.
Thank you so much to the Eargo team for being willing to share that story with all of us here at High World. And thank you, Kai, for taking the time to walk all of us through the product vision and the roadmap for the user testing human insight platform. I'm so excited for what we're building, what we just released, and really where it's headed. And thank you to many of you who've been sending in your feedback. We really, truly do appreciate it. We get thousands of inputs around feature enhancement requests and different product directions, and we do take all of it to heart, and we've really been using it to help prioritize what we want to focus on. We also have hundreds of people participate in our beta experiences and our, the beta process for a lot of these different new features. It's been incredibly insightful, and we've really taken a lot of that feedback and built it in as before we've really brought it to market. So thank you, and I encourage you, if any of you want to participate in future betas, let us know. And so with all of this, I'm excited about this October release. I hope you head on over to our live demo booths if you haven't yet. There are research experts there. There's also product experts who can really share with you some of those recent enhancements that we released this year, as well as all the things that Kai showed today in this new release. Please do check it out, as well as a variety of the different networking opportunities. So we really wanted to make sure that you're engaging with us however you need. And additionally, as we're wrapping up this keynote here, I do want you to take the time to stay with us for the rest of this High World event. There's all these amazing customer speakers all lined up. Thank you to all of you who have volunteered to do this and raised your hand, from Facebook to Indeed to Chartio, GoDaddy, Capital One, Goldman Sachs, right? Some great thought leaders and brands who've been really tackling a lot of this and wanting to share their best practices and insights. So please do check that out. We also have the closing keynote with Trisha Wang. She is a global tech ethnographer. She's been shown on TED Talks and a variety of different conferences. And what I'm excited about her theme, she's going to be closing us out with how to learn about your customer when everything you know about them has changed, which I think is a very timely theme that we're all kind of facing right now. So please do take the time. She's an engaging presenter. So definitely listen on in. And finally, as we wrap up, I did just want to thank you. I know that this year, there's many of us who've been on back-to-back on all these virtual calls, probably more than you've ever imagined you'd be on. And I do appreciate that you've taken several of these days to hop online yet again to really learn and think a little bit more about bringing human insights into your organization and really helping people become much more empathetic to their customers and see the world through their point of view. I do thank you for your attention, your time, engaging with us, and your feedback, and I hope you have a very wonderful rest of the day.